Welcome everybody to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two guys who would probably lend credence to the Satanic Panic. My name is John Santana.
I'm still Justin. Oh, dude, these intros, man. Oh, you get these from like ChatGPT or something?
No, I literally spend all week thinking of it.
I can actually see that. You're sitting at work, just like doodling away in like a notebook, and everyone's like, "Oh, he must be like writing a novel or something." Nope, intros for the podcast.
When we first started, I wrote about 10. I think we've got 2 left of those original ones.
Ooh, interesting.
And it was today when I was out and about. It was like, oh shit, here's one. And I just remembered Satanic Panic. It was like, okay, yeah, that we could make that work.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one.
Oh, glad you liked it. So, how are you keeping good, old buddy?
I am doing fantastic. I have been in a really good place this week because I've not only got one new game starting up, I've got 2 new games starting up with the same group of players, which is going to be interesting. Because essentially what we're doing is somebody that we know has decided he would like to try his hand at GMing. And obviously I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. I've got a book that you can run that I was going to run, but fuck it, you can run it instead. Because it's a really good like introductory book for players as well as DMs. So he's going to run that. And he was saying that he might run like every other week because it gives him a lot more time between to kind of like, you know, prep and make sense of things and stuff like that. So I said, well, you know, if you want to run every other week, I could run in the other weeks and we'll just run 2 games. And everyone was pretty keen on that. So yeah, so we're going to be running 2 games side by side, same group of players, just swapping out the GM every week.
Fantastic. I'm assuming both 5e.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they're all quite new players, and that's the only system that they've really dabbled in. So I don't want to start confusing them with like different rule sets and stuff like that just yet.
That's fair. Whatever floats your boat, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I've also given in to the dark side, as you know, because you've been helping me with things. And I have installed Obsidian on my laptop.
Now the
Dude,
question,
it's so good.
Because when I spoke to you about it, I felt like I was being a bit quite heavy-handed, but I think at the same time I kind of undersold it about how good it actually is.
I think it's one of those things like I think the way you tried to sell it was the wrong approach for what I needed out of it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of the way you sold it to me was stuff that is already handled by stuff I use. So like D&D Beyond handles like the encounters and the initiative tracking and all that sort of thing. So I'm not using any of that. I'm using it for all of the other bits like note-taking, world building. I've got some really good generators in there for generating like stores and shops and stuff in towns and inns. And then like the NPC database, that was big. You did tell me about that one, but that one's my favorite of all of them, if I'm honest, is that NPC database. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm playing around with it all day, every day at the minute. And just, you know, finding out other things that I can do with it. And it's so powerful, dude.
The thing that kind of gets me on it is the ability to kind of go, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And there is a way to do it.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Whereas if you're working with a program designed by somebody, whether that's D&D Beyond or whether that's Arkham Forge or one of the other sort of bespoke
options out there,
RPG management software there is, it's a case of you kind of have to work with the tools that you're given.
Yeah.
Whereas because Obsidian is community driven, chances are there is someone out there that's had the specific need that you needed.
Yeah.
And they just happen to know how to code.
Yeah. And that's what I've been finding with it, you know, is like, I use a lot of, because so I struggle with, coming up with original, material, right? So quite often if I'm doing everything myself by hand, I'll use NPCs that I've like encountered in other games, or just like it'll be a name from a book I read one time or something like that, right? And I really struggle with that sort of thing. Or I'll just pull out like a book of names from, like, there's a bunch of them in Xanathar's Guide for 5e. There's a bunch of like name generators at the back of the book, and I'd get them from there. But like fleshing out those NPCs was a struggle. Whereas some of the tools in this, like it just links into ChatGPT and has a bunch of prompts that like goes, oh, okay, we need a description for an NPC. Just ChatGPT will write one.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that functionality. I have not added it.
I have. It's really good.
Just because,
it costs money as well.
I still kind of like to do a lot of things myself.
Yeah.
Although, like, I do use ChatGPT from time to time, but I don't like relying on it. So I will spend time and just kind of go, okay, so this NPC, and I'll, think of someone I've met in my past and basically use that description.
I mean, I would ask if I've got any NPCs in your games, but I know for a fact I do, so.
Oh, you do, but that was a character that you created in an
No, I know, yeah.
session, so yeah, that was your own doing that.
It was entirely, yeah.
So yeah, it is a phenomenal bit of kit, and the fact that you can use it entirely for free.
Yeah, absolutely. It is awesome.
And there's also something about the work that you put in to make it functional.
Yeah.
There's a sense of pride there, which is weird.
I think it's also as well, like when you start, I've copied a lot of like the base rules and stuff into it now, so that I've got reference to them sort of like in my screen without having to Google stuff and things like that, right? But then I was writing out some other stuff, and I found myself being able to do, like, if you go to a lot of like Roll20 or anything like this, right, and you go through the rules that they have, they'll quite often link to other rules when they mention it, like to what a bonus action is or stuff like that. Because I've put those rules in and I've got them as documents within my system, I can do the same thing and I can link to other rules and other bits and pieces. And that just, for me, that just felt so cool because I was able to like write out essentially verbatim what's on like these websites with links to the other bits of information and stuff, but without linking externally. And that was really cool.
Check out the Obsidian Facebook group, and they do have a GitHub.
Yes, I've already been playing with that.
So many things.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the 5e SRD's on there.
Yeah, I've already got that.
Yeah, the Pathfinder stuff's on there. I've already got that as well. I'm currently doing, and obviously it's not something I can share, but I'm currently putting in Delta Green, the handler's guide in there as well. But that's just going to, obviously, that's just for me because
for you, yeah.
There's no, I'm not allowed to share that. But
yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to have the structure built up, and, in an adventure where it says, oh, roll a sand check, and there'll be a little highlight where you can just hover.
Hover over it and get, a sand check is this. Yeah.
It is
so good,
phenomenal,
dude. It's brilliant.
Phenomenal program. And I'm glad you've kind of adapted it because it's going to make your workflow so much easier. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I've also, I don't know if you've seen it because I'm sure they've got one for Pathfinder as well, but obviously I'm looking at the 5e stuff, but they've got like fantasy stat blocks is a plugin for it.
Yeah, they've got that for Pathfinder as well.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm using that as well. So like when I'm writing out like what encounter is going to happen at this point, I can actually just put in the stat blocks for the creatures as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, and to be fair, I used Obsidian for one of my Society games not long ago. And the stat block, the initiative tracker with the stat blocks, it works really well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still going to use the D&D Beyond tracker just for that because it's got... So all of my players have a D&D Beyond account. We are all going to be creating characters in the same campaign on there. So it just makes it a little bit more... it's easier for them because like one of them is not always going to be able to be here in person, so they'll be able to send their dice rolls through that and stuff like that. So from that aspect, it's just going to be a bit easier for me to manage the the combat side through D&D Beyond still. But the rest of it I'm doing through Obsidian.
Yeah, most of my gaming's through Foundry, and I've got like all the maps and the creatures on there as well. So I don't utilize the full functionality of Obsidian all the time, but just the ability to do that is incredible. It is a really, really solid program. So I'm glad
it's awesome.
You've kind of joined us.
Do it.
Do it. I rewatched that the other day. Fuck, it's bad. You know, and I've just come off watching the Clone Wars.
Well,
and it's like, oh yeah, so Anakin and Padme become good actors for 6 seasons, and then go back to being shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched episode 1 with my daughter about a month or so ago for the first time. And obviously with her being the age that she is, she's 3 years old, I was fully expecting her to be like, Jar Jar Binks is awesome, right? Because let's be honest, he's the kind of character that appeals to young kids, right? That's what he's there for. She hated him. I was never more proud. She loved R2 and hated Jar Jar. I was like, I have succeeded as a parent.
Yeah, that's it. If you do nothing else now.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, my work here is done. I can die a happy man. Oh.
So I finally got my copy of Rage of Elements that came out on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Came out on Thursday. I was in a foul fucking mood for the first 2 hours at work because I woke up Thursday morning and had a look and it wasn't on my Nexus yet. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously time difference.
Yeah, it's a thing. It happens. Yeah.
So I was sat at work seething for a couple of hours until it actually came. And what a fucking book it is. It is phenomenal. And I may have a new favourite class.
Oh. Yeah. Interesting.
On Saturday, we had our lodge meet and I was playing for a change. So I had to build a kineticist.
Okay.
And fuck me, they're awesome.
So describe a kineticist for me, because I'm sure we've got something somewhat similar in 5e, but I'm not sure what.
So a kineticist is essentially a character who manipulates the elements. All right. Okay. And it's not like a wizard, not like an elementalist wizard who uses spells. You channel the
like
elements.
An airbender.
Similar, yeah, very, very. That's probably the closest approximation.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Now there were kineticists in first edition.
I never played one though.
They were quite good. The only problem about them is they had a lot of abilities, but they ended up kind of defaulting to one ability, which was just a kinetic blast.
Yeah.
So they did become very kind of one-dimensional.
So a bit like Warlocks in 5e, where it's like they've got a lot of cool stuff, but they 99% of the time just, just blast.
Yeah, because, I mean, that is probably the most effective way of playing them.
Yeah.
Whereas in second edition, they still have their kinetic blast, but they can do so much fucking more.
Ooh.
So at first level, you pick an element. You can, let's start again. At first level, you can pick either single gate or dual gate.
Okay.
All right, so single gate means one element, and dual gate means 2. If you pick 2, you could still do everything you can with a single. They're only, slightly less powerful.
Okay.
You have a
so
little
it's
less
power for versatility type thing.
Exactly. So I went ahead and built a water kineticist called Evian Perrier.
It's amazing.
All right. So she was a water kineticist. So
you should have joined the mafia and become a don. Oh, I'm here all week, guys.
So she is like a water kineticist, and the amount of shit she can do at first level is staggering. because your blasts, you can choose them. You can choose whether they're going to be melee or ranged. So you don't even have to worry about positioning.
Okay.
If you're in melee range, you use a melee blast.
Yeah.
You can use more actions to make your blast more powerful.
Okay.
So you can add your con modifier to the damage.
Mm.
Or you can just use a single action, which is just a straight D8, or a D8 plus your strength if you're doing a melee.
Yeah.
But then if you do two action impulse, as they're called, you then get an additional effect of, I can push you back 5 feet.
Interesting. Okay, so that's pretty cool.
So you've got a damage dealing class, which also has battlefield control and versatility.
And being a con-based caster, I imagine they're quite a hearty character as well, because you're going to pump everything into con.
Exactly. And it is just so cool. All the players at the table were kind of going, yeah, we need to build one of these.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? So I think I know why I recognize the name Kineticist. It's not because we have something like it in 5e. It's because people are using it as an example of a con-based caster being functional and working, because there's a lot of argument in the 5e world to make sorcerers con-based. And I kind of get it, right? Because sorcerers, at least in 5e, all of their magic is from their bloodline, right? It's from within them. So it would make sense that they would need to be quite, they would have to have a decent constitution to be able to control this power that's in their blood. But yeah, we don't have any con-based casters in 5th edition. But there is like homebrew rules for making a sorcerer con-based. Which I want to try at some point, because I think it makes sense, and it would be good, because it just we could use one.
I mean, like, I've only tried it out at first level, but
it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. So I may at some point make a Kineticist and multi-class with a bard, and then I've just got my perfect character.
Yeah. Chat shit or get wet.
Chat shit and get wet.
Hey. It's Bard 101.
So, speaking of Paizo releases.
Yes.
Another thing that happened on Thursday, I think it was like the first day of Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
And Paizo announced Starfinder 2nd edition.
I did see that, yeah.
That is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Probably one of the reasons why I don't really play much Starfinder is because it feels like a step backwards. Because Pathfinder 2nd edition is so crisp and so tight and so well done. Going back to Starfinder, which is essentially very
similar to Pathfinder 1st edition, yeah,
it does feel like a step back. Same reason why I'm kind of reluctant to play any 5e based games. It's the same sort of thing. But yeah, bringing it out for 2nd edition and making it fully compatible with Pathfinder is just going to be...
Yeah, that's going to be sick.
It's going to be
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've not played much Starfinder, even 1st edition, because the space game of choice for me was always Stars Without Number, which is also awesome. But with 2e mechanics, because obviously from the brief time I played Pathfinder 2nd edition, I have to agree the mechanics were really good, right? The ones I saw anyway. So I imagine a space-based game with similar mechanics, I can see how that would be very, very good.
Yeah, it's something that people have been kind of clamoring for.
Yeah, understandably, yeah.
They have been kind of interested in it becoming a thing. Because Starfinder was released and it was a slight upgrade from Pathfinder First Edition. They fixed some of the problems.
Yeah.
But then Pathfinder Second Edition came along, and it was an entire rework. It wasn't a case of we're building on First Edition. It's a case of, no, we're scrapping everything and we're starting again. And we're going to do this right, so to speak. So a lot of people have kind of gone, right, so what about having those mechanics in Starfinder? So there has been quite a lot of push for it. And I don't think it would have happened as soon as it's going to happen, because they've announced it for, I think 2026. Next year, wasn't it? I think next year the playtest is coming out.
Oh, okay.
Then there's about a year's worth of playtest. So 2025, I think. All right. I don't think that it would have happened as soon had it have not have been
without the whole community just going, guys.
Without Paizo stepping away from the OGL.
Yeah.
Where they would have to rework fucking everything anyway. So I think they must have just gone, you know what? Let's pull the trigger. Let's just go ahead and fucking do it. And I'm here for it. I am waiting. I want to get my space adventures on.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got a year, and then we show the playtest. Because looking at it, was August 2024 for the full playtest.
Yeah, but they've started already doing stuff, which is more like a behind the scenes sort of, this is what we're thinking. They've already kind of released a couple of classes. I am going to kind of keep up to date with that and just
absolutely. Yeah,
so that one, I'm going to take the liberty and I'm going to put that on the watch list.
I already did it.
Oh, you sexy. I love you. I love it when you're efficient.
Well, speaking of things that we put on a list. You see, I've got segues. Segues on segues.
Segues for days.
We put the One Ring RPG on our list, right?
We did.
That was some. Yeah. So I saw a copy of it in a store in town the other day, but I didn't have the spare cash to pick it up. However, we have waited so long to pick that up that an expansion is already coming out.
First of all, which store?
Oh god, I can't remember its name. It's the new board game store in town.
Oh, okay. I still don't know where the fuck that is, but
I could take you. It's very easy to find once you know where it is.
Because I'll pick it up. Because I want the One Ring. You were going to run the Lord of the Rings one, weren't you?
Oh yeah, it might have been the Lord of the Rings one. I don't know. It was one of the two. They had it in there. But yeah. Anyway, the One Ring RPG, they are bringing the Mines of Moria as a campaign expansion, which is due very, very soon, if not already. So it's been penned by the same guy that wrote the book. And it's... Oh, no, it's a Kickstarter campaign that launches this month. That was it. So he's doing it for Kickstarter. And plans to publish the book for retail early next year.
Kickstarter. Fuck's sake.
But it's all from the same author, so I feel like it will be just as good.
No, I mean, if the system is as good as people say it is, then I've got no doubt that an expansion will be just a very welcome addition to it.
Plus the Mines of Moria.
About the One Ring second edition, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just loading up the Kickstarter now. One Ring role-playing game, second edition. Okay, so the one that is out now is considered the second.
Is the second edition.
Right, okay. Because if not, I was going to not buy it until the second edition. But yeah, cool.
So it looks like he's writing this module for both the One Ring RPG and the Lord of the Rings 5e version. So he's dual penning them. I guess it's not
penning works.
Yeah, dual penning. I mean, I guess like the core adventure is going to be the same, right? It's just mechanics that would need tweaking to make it fit the different systems.
But is it an actual adventure book or is it a campaign setting?
It's a campaign module.
Oh.
So it is a campaign module to go through the Mines of Moria.
Interesting.
So essentially, he would be recreating the Mines of Moria in the setting in the game to then be explored. And I mean, you would be able to use like what he's created to essentially use the mines for your own adventures, right? Because you don't have to use the creatures and stuff that he puts in there.
No, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So I think we're going to have to kind of bump that up on the list.
Yeah,
so we can play it before we start investing more money into it. I think that would be the wise thing.
I would agree, but I'm going to put that on the list because for some reason I think when we recreated the list, the One Ring didn't make it onto the new version of the list.
Did it not?
No, it's not on there that I can see. So I'll put that on there so we've at least got the One Ring represented on the list.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
But it's still sitting below Tales of the Valiant because we need to play that soon.
Oh, yeah, Tales of the Valiant. And oddly enough, we don't have any Tales of the Valiant news this week.
No, we don't.
Which is fucking weird.
It is. They're taking a break. They're like, well, we'll give them a chance to talk about some other stuff.
Let's talk about the other peasants, and everything, and then we'll come back next week. Yeah,
next time on Dragon Ball Z. Speaking of, though, things that we have talked about in the past, another brilliant segue.
That was masterful.
It was amazing, right? But obviously, we previously reported that somebody found the Lord of the Rings card, the One Ring. And he wanted to stay anonymous, etc., etc. But he just this week sold the card to Post Malone.
You know, your segue could have been, speaking of Lord of the Rings based properties.
We could have. That would have been better.
That would have been much better.
It would have been much, much better. Yeah, but I missed that one. So I suck, basically. But you know what doesn't suck? Getting paid an undisclosed amount because they have not told us how much it is. However, considering the current offer was like upwards of $2 million that had been put up by somebody, we know it's going to be more than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. Someone else showed me this, and it did state $2 million he'd paid for it. But again, I just kind of saw it fleetingly, so...
Yeah, I think that the 2 million is like people are assuming it's 2 million or more because that was the current standing offer. But yeah, so the guy that sold the card, he's well known in the Magic the Gathering world. Like he's quite a known player. But he wanted to sell it to somebody that he felt would appreciate the card, which is why he sold it to Post Malone, because Post Malone has previously bought a very expensive card. He bought a copy of the Black Lotus card for $800,000 previously, which was the most expensive Magic the Gathering card ever sold, or one of. Obviously, this one should be considerably more, considering it's upwards of 2 million. I reckon is a safe bet. But yeah, but I mean, Post Malone has done loads for Magic the Gathering as a whole. I mean, I know we don't talk a lot about the card game because it's not really our Jimmy Jam, but he's put on big events and stuff like that for Magic the Gathering, and yeah, he's does his fair part and has now paid a stupid amount of money to somebody who, by the sounds of it, could have really used the money, and it's going to completely change his life. So,
no, I mean,
congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who sold it is definitely onto a winner.
Yeah.
And speaking of winners,
hey, there it is.
There we go. Okay, so first of all, the Diana Awards that we've kind of mentioned a couple of times.
Yes.
There has been a winner.
Yes.
And I'm actually really excited, and it's one that we've got on our list.
I know, and I think we need to move it up the list because of this.
Coyote and Crow wins the 2023 Diana Jones Award. I actually saw that in a shop the other day, and it was like, do I buy it?
You absolutely should have.
Dude, I've spent so fucking much money lately.
I know.
Slow down. But yeah, we definitely need to play this.
Yeah, I'm going to bump it up the list a bit.
It just looks, it looks really interesting. It looks like like a really interesting take on a culture that, frankly, we know, at least I know, fuck all about.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing. I know nothing, very little.
And yeah, I would love to play that. So yeah, that's definitely on our list. Probably behind One Ring.
Yeah, it's where I've moved that up to. But I mean, like, if we're going to discuss winners, though.
Yeah, see, I set you up for that one.
You did.
I kind of stayed quiet because it was like the sort of to and fro.
I mean, yeah. So obviously, we have a considerable amount more winners to talk about.
We do. One in fucking particular.
Yes.
So the Ennies.
Yes.
The Ennies
they've announced their winners.
Yeah, the Ennies award ceremony took place last night at Gen Con.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think Free League really bother anymore. I think they just turn up and kind of go, just give me our prize. Give me
turn up, thank you, and then leave.
Yeah, that's it. How many have fucking Free League won? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Enough.
4 prizes they've won.
Fucking hell.
So, yeah, Free League have won Product of the Year for Vesson RPG Mythic Britain and Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
They've also won Blade Runner Core Rules for the best layout and design.
Yep.
Blade Runner Starter Set for the best cartography.
Yeah.
The Ruins of Symbaroum Bestiary for the best monster or adversary.
Yep.
So, yeah, you know.
They've done all right. They've done well for themselves. I mean, I would like to just point out, though, that a game that we mentioned last week with Couch is on this list.
I know. I saw that and I got so fucking excited.
So Fabula Ultima is on here as best game.
Couch. If you do not have a list, you do now.
This is now top of the list.
This is now top of your list. We expect you to run this game.
But yeah, I mean, there are some really cool things on here, but I mean, it's just a big well done to everybody that won an award there. You know, I mean, it's a huge thing to do, and congratulations to all of them.
I mean, the only ones I don't really know are Blackbirds and Sword of the Serpentine. Avatar Legends. Free rules are out.
Yeah,
and you can just download them and just kind of see what the game's about. It is based on Powered by the Apocalypse, so similar to Monster of the Week, etc., etc. However, there is a more in-depth combat mechanic. So you can actually choose, depending on the situation, which combat mechanic you want to use. You want to use the Powered by the Apocalypse, the 2d6, and you succeed, you fail, or there is one where you kind of choose the sort of fighting, not necessarily stance, but the approach that you're taking, whether you're going to be defending, whether you're going to be counteracting, or that sort of thing. And it is really fleshed out. It is a very intricate combat mechanic. So I'm actually looking that up because my son has recently got into Avatar, and I went, funny you should mention Avatar. There is a game for it.
As it goes.
So I'll probably be running that at some point, maybe the beginner box or something. Blackbirds, unfortunately, I don't know too much about, but I'm sure we can Google it. I can hear Justin's keyboard going.
I was Googling the next one, actually.
Okay, I'm doing Blackbirds then. Blackbirds RPG. Okay. So, Blackbirds is a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game powered by Zweihander RPG. The gods failed us, the powerful betrayed us, rise to meet your fate. 12 years of war have ravaged the kingdoms of Erebos, where the great battle that would decide the fate of all has been waged and lost. That's a blurb.
Yeah.
That's a blurb and a half, isn't it?
It sounds pretty good. Can't lie. So, I mean, I had a quick look at Swords of Serpentine because that's one that neither of us have really heard of. It's a gumshoe game.
Ooh.
So it's a sword and sorcery game of daring heroism, sly politics, and bloody savagery, set in a fantasy city rife with skullduggery and death. The rules adapt the Gumshoe investigative role-playing system to create a fantasy RPG with a focus on high-action role-playing and investigation inspired by the stories of Terry Pratchett, Robert E. Howard, and a few other people as well.
Well, that sounds good. That does sound good. I'll definitely have a look into them. I'm not going to add them to the list yet because we got far too much.
The list is growing ever bigger.
And another winner is Linda Codega.
Yes.
From IO9 and Gizmodo. They were one of like the I don't know whether they broke the news or whether they were just like one of the main voices of the whole OGL debacle.
Yes.
And speaking of Linda Codega,
I was just about to bring that up as well. Yeah, about the new D&D source book.
Yeah, they posted the other day in a column that they wrote that a artist who worked on Bigsby Presents Glory of the Giants has admitted to using AR to generate certain details of new art for the source book.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've been having a look at what he's because he actually posted this up on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, right? It's called X now. He posted up on X that he did this because he's known as an AI artist, and people were saying, oh, he's just generated all of it on AI, but that's not what he's actually done. What he's done is he's created like a 99% of the artwork, and then he just kind of like post-productioned it through an AI to like add the final flares, right? So in that story from Linda, there's actually an example of the kind of thing that he did. So I don't know if you've got that in front of you.
Yeah, I've got it up now.
Yeah, so you can see. I mean, the differences are negligible. It's added a bit of a glow and like an effect over the arm. That's about it.
I mean, I think the timing of it is the problem.
I mean, yeah, I can see that because I mean, Wizards have got some issues. However,
not only the I mean, Wizards have lost a lot of goodwill.
Yeah,
and anyone, myself included, will happily jump on that particular bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the AI discussion.
Yeah,
because a lot of what's going on now, especially with the SAG and all that, a lot of it is down to problems or AI being problematic and being misused. And I think right now it's a buzzword.
I think so as well. I think that is a big thing. Is there is also a lot of people who are seeing these stories about like AI art generators just stealing other people's art, which I know some of the free ones do, right? They'll just basically crop and like paste stuff together. But that's not what all of them do. Some of them will just use like a particular art style that you tell it to use or things like that. But I mean, it's such a touchy subject for a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of artists as well, and some of them are horrifically offended by AI art. Some of them think it's a really cool tool. So even people in the art world can't seem to come to a consensus on whether AI art is good or bad.
No, there is a lot of discussion, and part of it is because in order to train these AI systems, they have to get information from somewhere.
Yeah.
And that, especially in the case of art, especially visual art.
But is that not how we learn how to do art?
That is true. That is true.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're if that's the stance that these artists want to take of, oh yeah, but it has to study everyone else's art to be able to create its own art. It's like, so you've never looked at another bit of artwork ever in your life. You've never been influenced by another artist. Like, I feel like that particular argument is just such a straw man argument because it's bullshit. It's literally bullshit. Because that's how every artist is trained, right? You literally, to get a degree in art, you go and study other artists' work. That's what you do, right? There's literally degrees studying other people's art. So I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing, because as long as it's not taking that artwork that it's studied, and like I said earlier, like some of the free ones, just, you know, cropping other people's artwork and putting it together, because that's not creating art, right? That is just literally cutting and pasting other people's artwork. That's different, right? But studying how, like, those other bits were put together to create its own way of doing it, I don't see that as any different to studying art yourself.
I don't know the answer. Because you kind of have to figure out where the limits are. You kind of have to kind of know, okay, so what is acceptable and what kind of crosses the threshold into plagiarism, right?
Again, though, then we need to, well, I mean, you would have to do that with any art. Like if I, because there's already laws about that, right? If I paint somebody else's artwork, not that I can because I'm a terrible artist, but if I was good enough, right, and I went and painted somebody else's artwork, as long as I don't sell it, that's perfectly legal. If I'm literally copying it like brushstroke for brushstroke, right? If I'm just inspired by another artist, it's same sort of like music as well, right? If you're inspired by Blink-182 and you sound a lot like Blink-182, are you just Blink-182 2.0? Are you copying their music, or are you just similar?
Well, that is obviously for people to kind of debate when the time is right. The problem with the AI argument is that it is not regulated. There is no regulation as to what is permitted and what isn't. And that is why so many people are taking to the streets in regards to this. And it has had a knock-on effect in the term, in any time AI is mentioned, it is, for want of another word, demonized.
Oh, absolutely.
So if this person is, I mean, to be fair, this person using AI to enhance his own images, that doesn't bother me. That I don't see necessarily fault with that.
Yeah.
But I do understand the knee-jerk reaction that's happened because of everything that's going on.
Yeah. I think as well, though, like I mean, you said about drawing the line, right? But at what point is it using technology to help finish a product any different to, say, even the technology we use to record this podcast, right? Because, I mean, we use, like, I personally use software for, you know, EQ and stuff on my microphone, like all of that sort of things. Like, I don't have like a big EQ board in front of me. I'm not trained to do that. I've clicked a button based on other people's work and it's made my voice sound like this, right? Whereas normally you would have to hire somebody to come and EQ your stuff. And the same sort of thing in, like, if you look at video editing software in particular, right? There are so many effects and stuff built into those that are so good now that, like, what used to take entire teams of VFX artists is now one person and a laptop. At what point do you chalk it up to progression?
Well, I mean, that's what this debate has to kind of reach, and we're not going to reach there. You and I, we're not going to fucking get there.
I've already made my mind up, but
but you know, it's one of these things that, you know, our opinion, your opinion, my opinion,
doesn't really matter.
Nobody gives a shit about. Let's be honest, right?
Nobody cares.
You know, it is a tool.
Yeah.
Now, to what point do you kind of, you know, lord that over the artist and kind of going, oh, to be fair, that's a bit of a cop-out. How, you know, where do you stand on that? That's up to each person's own personal, you know, personal sort of choice, for want of another word. Problem is, again, like I've said, AI is a buzzword right now.
Absolutely.
You know, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whether you agree with it partially, disagree with it, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, right now, AI is a hot topic. It is something that is being heavily debated by people that are far more intelligent than us. So when it comes out that these images have been enhanced by AI and it hasn't been disclosed, people are going to kick off.
Oh, yeah.
And especially considering that the company in question has burnt away most of its goodwill, people are going to kick off even more and jump on bandwagons.
Yes.
Now, they have actually put out a statement.
Yes, on X. So weird calling it that.
I've closed my account. Fuck it. I'm done. But the statement is, today we became aware that an artist used AI to create artwork for the upcoming book, Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. We have worked with this artist since 2014, has put years of work into books we all love. While we weren't aware of the artist's choice to use AI in the creation process for these commissioned pieces, we have discussed with him and he will not use AI for Wizards work moving forward. We are revising our process and updating our artist guidelines to make clear that artists must refrain from using AI generation as part of their art creation process for developing D&D art.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, they've addressed the situation promptly, which is, you know, improvement in my book. I'm a bit dubious as to how much they knew or didn't know about the artists that they hire.
I mean, that's the thing, though, right? If he's been working with them since 2014, that's like, what, 9 years? He's probably at that point where they just say, draw this, and he goes away and does it, and then they just say, cool, that looks good, right? He's been doing it for 9 years with them. That's a long time.
But the artist is known for using AI.
But was he known back in 2014 when they first started working with him, or is the AI new for what he does now, right?
I don't know. I honestly do not know, because, again, it's all we know is what we have in front of us.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit strange to me. But, again, even if D&D, even if Wizards were aware, okay, let's hypothetically say that Wizards were aware that this person used AI to enhance their images. Chances are that they did not start work on the book, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe even? AI back then was not...
Yeah, because I mean, this book is
controversial subject it is today.
Oh God, no! Yeah,
so even if Wizards were aware at that point that AI was being used, you can't really fault them.
I mean, yes, well, especially like this book is due out next week, right?
So how long does it take? 2 years?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, 2 years to build everything, like all the content, and then do all the artwork and all that. Yeah. So.
Even if Wizards were potentially aware, back then, 2 years ago, they wouldn't have gone, oh, wait a minute, in 2 years' time, this is going to be a problem.
Exactly.
You know, so I do think, as much as it pains me to say this, I do think some sort of understanding has to be taken in regards to Wizards of the Coast.
I mean, I think one of the funny arguments that I've seen people trying to make on this story is that, like, these people doing AI art is taking away jobs from artists. Like, but no, you're kind of missing the point of this article. They hired an artist. That artist then used AI. It's like, so like that, like, it's just that's a funny argument to me. It's like, they should have hired an artist. They did.
Yeah, I mean, I think a simple disclaimer would make this problem go away.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if it would make it go away. I think people would then, because let's be honest, right? Especially this day and age, people look for reasons to bitch, right? Like people will find a reason to have a moan. So I think all a disclaimer would do is basically then people would say, "Oh, I can't believe they used AI to do this, taking away jobs from real artists or whatever." Right? People would find a different approach for it. Especially considering, as we've mentioned a couple of times, Wizards don't exactly have the best reputation at the moment, right? So I think even if Wizards had put out with a disclaimer, people would have still found a reason to complain.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, you've got a bit more of a moral standpoint to kind of go, you were warned.
Yeah, but
right there, you didn't have to buy the book.
Well, I mean, every D&D book does have a disclaimer. I don't know if you've seen that.
What about AI?
No.
That's not the point I'm making.
No, I know. Just that it's like a funny disclaimer that they've put in like every single book.
This book is written by cunts?
No.
That should be on there.
I'll see if I can find it later, but there is like a disclaimer about like something. It's like a really stupid disclaimer that's just like quite funny that they've put in every single book.
Fair enough. But yeah, so, give D&D a bit of a break, to be fair. Again, if you've heavily opposed to it, then don't buy the book.
Yeah.
It's quite simple, it is, we live in a world wwhere money talks and we kind of vote with our wallet. And so if people are against this, don't buy the book. And then maybe in the future they'll approach it a different way.
Yep.
Personally, I'm in favor of Paizo's stance, where months ago they just went, no AI.
Well, I mean, that's what Wizards have said now, because up until somebody used AI in their book, they didn't really have a reason to take a stance on it.
Or now that they've been caught, maybe.
Well, no, because they weren't caught. He openly said, like, I used AI. Like, he just came out and said it for no real reason. Like, it wasn't like somebody went, "Hey, hang on a minute." But I have found that disclaimer. So in the player's handbook, there's a disclaimer that says, Wizards of the Coast is not responsible for the consequences of splitting up the team, sticking appendages in the mouth of a leering green devil face, accepting a dinner invitation from bugbears, storming the feast hall of a hill giant steading, angering a dragon of any variety, or saying yes when the DM asks, "Are you really sure?"
That's fair enough.
That's that last one for me. That's when the DM asks, "Are you really sure?" Like, guys, please, no. But yeah, no, I think it's something the world needs to make its mind up on. It needs to make it up fast with the whole AI art thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially because we are talking about people's livelihoods.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to like the writers' strike and all that. It's not pretty.
No.
And it is quite dark. It is quite a dark time. And speaking of dark times.
Wow, that was bad.
That was shoehorned.
That was bad. Like, you went on a whole tangent just to get to that one.
I know. It was a journey. I kind of wish I'd have seen this last week for when Couch was on, because I know he'd be excited about this.
He would, yeah.
But I saw something crop up on Facebook from Evil Genius Gaming, who we haven't really featured too much.
No, we haven't.
And it is The Crow.
Yes.
As in the Brandon Lee classic.
Yes.
So visit the world of the Crow and wreak vengeance on those who would turn the lands of the living and the dead on their head. Some tragedies never rest, even after death. So it is an expansion to their everyday heroes system, which is based on Modern 20, adapted to 5e. And I've only just realized how many licenses Evil Genius games have.
Yeah. There's a few.
There is a few.
This is just a few.
Waiting for the page to load, but there's a few. The Crow being one of them.
A few. I mean, they've got the Kong, Pacific Rim. What else?
Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Total Recall, Highlander,
Rambo,
Universal
Soldier.
It's like, oh my god, that just sounds like my childhood.
It's basically the 80s films. If it was an 80s action film, they've made a game for it.
I love it. I do need to look into some of this. I mean, I'd be interested in Pacific Rim, to be honest. You know. And plus, you were looking for more stuff you could do with 5e.
I was actually.
Maybe that the Everyday Heroes rule set.
Oh, I've actually seen this before. I didn't even realize that this was the same thing.
Yeah, so it's a modern-day role-playing system based on D20 Modern, refreshed for the 5th edition. Updated by some of D20's original designers, Everyday Heroes will delight fans everywhere.
Yeah, so it basically turns like all of your stats and stuff into like action film stats instead. So there's like car chases with explosions and computer hacking and all that sort of fun stuff. But it's basically like it's every action film ever from the 80s and 90s. There's a way to build like the main character from it in this system. Yeah, I've been told about this. Oh God, like 6 years ago, somebody mentioned this to me. I was like, that sounds really cool. And then I forgot about it until like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, so, it does actually sound really cool.
It sounds like it's something that's up both our alleys.
It so fucking does. All right. I'm going to add Everyday Heroes to the list.
All right, fair enough.
Everyday Heroes, I don't know which. I don't know which yet. Maybe the...
Well, I mean, we can do the base, and then we can always get the specific film ones later.
Yeah. So,
that's probably the best way to do it.
Heroes. I typed Everyday Herpes.
Oh. Well, I mean, you mentioned something like that, and it's quite an evil disease, is little herpes, because it doesn't go away. Speaking of evil... That's how you shoot one in a segue.
Speaking of herpes,
there is a. I can't even... Oh, that was so bad. I broke myself. Oh my god! Right, Where Evil Lies is what I wanted to talk about.
Do you want to try that again?
No, Where Evil Lies. It looks like a really, really cool book. I don't know if you've read much about it or anything like that, but it's basically a book with 22 different dungeons. There's at least one dungeon for every level from 2nd level to 20th. Every single one of those dungeons has like a boss, like a full layout, a bunch of information about the boss and running the thing. So basically, it's a shit, my party wants a quest and I don't have anything prepared in a box.
Yeah, reading it now.
So
it comes from Matt Colville. Matt Colville, DM,
awesome.
Yeah, he's very, awesome. Very good at what he does.
He is fantastic.
Whatever happened to the system they were going to put out?
It's probably still happening. I imagine it's a lot of work.
But anyway, so Matt Colville brought out this, and you know, I think anybody who's ever GM'd has seen a Matt Colville video.
Absolutely.
At some point, just to kind of go, how should I tackle this particular... It's basically...
I have no idea how to do that. Oh, that's how you do it.
It's basically what the couch would look like.
Yes.
If we knew what we were talking about.
It's exactly what it would look like, yeah. I just love the way that he starts every single video with, now you don't have to do it this way, but this is how I do it, which instinctively means That's how everybody that watches this video is going to do it. It's why we're watching the video. We want to know how you did it so we can do it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
Oh, he is. He's amazing. And the fact that, you know, it's him that's put this together, you know it's going to be really good. You know it's going to flow well. And yeah, it's going to be something that you could, if you haven't got anything prepped, you've got a game coming up and your party go, oh, we're going to check the notice board to see if there's anything we can do. And you're like, shit, I don't have anything prepared for that. Yeah, there's a note about this, and then just throw one of these dungeons. That's the appropriate level. Job done.
Yeah, it is looking good. It's currently, backer kit. They've already surpassed their 150,000 goal
quite comfortably.
Yeah, they're en route to doubling that, so good for them. I know, and I'm presuming, 5e. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not interested, but
I am.
I'm sure
for $50 I can get the hardcover and the PDF. That's very tempting.
So yeah, I mean that's quite good. But plus, I mean, again, with it being Matt Koval, you kind of you know there's going to be something good in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. It's going to just be, it's going to tick the boxes, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of the couch,
shall we head over?
All right. Have you received anything this week?
I have not.
So I've got all three.
Oh man!
All three questions and quandaries.
Oh man!
Let me just bring up a jot form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here should we start with? Should we start with Couch himself?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just trying to find one that he hasn't.
Yeah, because he asked a few when he was here with us.
He asked a few, and I'm just trying to find the one. Okay, so this is written in by the formerly as known Couch Chef. Watching sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. We all know how to build a character, but when it comes to NPCs, we either see them as disposable or the best thing ever. What is your approach to ensuring the right NPCs are picked up in the right places? How do you make your NPCs important?
I have a very, very easy answer for this. I don't. I just throw NPCs at them, and whichever one sticks, that's the one that's important. And then I'll flesh out that one. It's the easiest way, because you never, you will spend 6 months designing the perfect NPC, and then the players don't even talk to them. So yeah, the easiest way to do it, let your players pick one, and then that's the one you flesh out.
Yeah, I mean,
Next question.
To a certain degree. I do kind of agree with that. I do throw a lot of NPCs at my players, and they do seem to randomly pick some, which I then kind of flesh out a bit more. But at the same time, sometimes for story reasons, I've written in an NPC.
Yeah.
And whether it's through just pure perseverance, I make sure they know they're important.
So you walk up to this guy, there's a huge neon sign that says this guy is important.
I mean, a lot of it is basically you hold information to ransom.
Yeah,
that is the best way of doing it. They come up and kind of go, oh, we need this information. You know that dude you ignored?
He had it. Yeah.
And then they've got to chase him down, and then I can be a dick.
Yep.
I mean, I have had it once where no matter what I did, they just were so antagonistic about this NPC. So they were in a city, and there was a captain of the Hell Knights. For one reason or another, went and spoke to them, etc., and they were just taking the piss.
Yeah.
Like, they were just absolutely taking the piss out of this guy. So I had him killed and put on display. He was left hanging from an arch by the current, like the at the moment unknown bad guy of that arc. So then I had his boss come in. And that was an entirely different story.
Yeah.
Because it was not fucking about. And I kind of thought, like, commanded their respect.
Mm.
You know, because the original guy, he was kind of like, yeah, okay, right, if you wouldn't mind, blah, blah, blah. And they just...
He was a bitch.
They were just suck the piss. But this guy comes in and he's like, okay, this is what you're going to do, and you're going to do this now.
Yeah. I think as well,
get
like...
the fuck out of my city.
I think as well, like, once you've been with the same group for a while, you'll kind of know how they think to a degree. So you'll know how to make an NPC a bit more important to them as well. We'll probably come with it a little bit.
Yeah, there always has to be... You always have to sell. And you have to have something to sell.
Yeah.
An NPC for the sake of an NPC is not going to be interesting to them unless they determine it is. However, an NPC which serves their purpose...
Exactly, yeah.
And the more elusive you make said NPC, the more interested they become.
Yeah. I would also like to add, don't force an NPC into the group, because all that will do is make them want to kill that person because they think they're a bad guy.
Well, I mean, everything I do with my table, they don't trust me anyway, so...
Yeah, that's because it's you. I'm talking about everybody else.
Fair.
Yeah, because I've been in like groups where like an NPC has been like forced into the party, and every single time that's happened, the general consensus of the group is they're going to betray us. We should kill them now. So unless that's what you're going for, then do it. Shoehorn them in. But yeah, I would say avoid that as well, because yeah, you're just going to make them want to kill that person.
I've noticed I get more attention if I actually embody the NPCs with my own personality. Because if I try kind of create this personality for them, so say they meet an NPC who is, you know, who has some valuable information and they're a fugitive, or they're a known fugitive in some part of the world.
Yeah.
And you've got the paladin trying to kind of convince them. If I kind of play the NPC as originally intended, you know, the paladin will probably get the upper hand. Yeah. But the moment I kind of strip that away and kind of go, right, you are now talking to me. You, playing a character, have to convince me.
Yeah.
And when they kind of go, oh, yes, but you're wanted in... What am I wanted for? Do you know what I'm wanted for? No, you fucking don't. How does that fit with your paladin code? Because I can argue until the cows come home. But then the players kind of go, okay, there is a potential for us to lose this.
Yeah.
There is a potential for us to lose this thread.
Yeah.
So we have to play it carefully. And that always works for me. If I'm ever seeing an NPC kind of on shaky ground, it's like, okay, you're now no longer talking to the NPC. And it works every single fucking time.
Yeah.
So that was a good question. I enjoyed it.
It was. I like that one.
All right. So we have another question here.
Mm-hmm.
This is from our good friend Malin.
Yeah.
As soon as it loads. Malin from Serbia. His question is, I have township yet no houses, forest but no trees, rivers but no water. What am I?
A map.
Yeah, I knew that as well.
Yeah.
Although I would have settled for Gwyneth Paltrow's baby name list.
Oh, so I love those kind of riddles though, because those are the kind of things that, like, if you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, you'll sit there for like 8 weeks going, "What the fuck is the answer?"
Yeah, but do you know what? Do you know what I'm worried about?
What?
That this is now going to start a trend.
Oh, well, people just sending us riddles.
Ah, for fuck's sake!
That's fine by me, dude. I love a good riddle.
Oh man.
Dude, I love a good riddle. And think about it this way. It's getting content for your games, because if they send in a brilliant riddle, you've now got a riddle to throw at your players. Providing they don't, listen to the show.
Yeah, exactly. They listen to the show, and
which most of mine do.
Yeah, and so yeah, that kind of defeats.
Like, I have a riddle for you. Shit.
You kind of counterpointed yourself.
I did. I do that a lot. Because I'll say something and then my brain will catch up with the rest of the thought process. It goes, oh, it doesn't work.
I'm trying to think of other funny answers, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. And I thought we were going to milk 10 minutes out of this at least. But Malin, thank you ever so much. And oh dear God, I can't imagine what's going to fucking happen next week now.
Oh yeah, I feel like we're just going to get a list of riddles now.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, you guys do that in the knowledge that you'll be annoying me.
You realize you just made them want to do it more, right?
Yeah, but I had to be, for the sake of openness and candor, I did have to just kind of say,
just reiterate that point. Yeah,
fucking tits in. All right, well, thank you very much, Marlon. I shall put in a riddle when I run fucking bind.
Put in that riddle, but just change it slightly. Riddle. That exact riddle, but change the answer. The answer's no longer in that.
Towers, but no bricks. I have coasts, but no
water.
Sex on the beach.
I have coast, but no sand.
Fair
and
enough.
I have mountains, but no rock.
All right, so the next question comes from Sci-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me this via Facebook Messenger, so I don't have a funny location. He's in a place that has forest but no trees.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sci-Fi's question is, how much role-playing takes place in your games, and how is it managed?
Well, I mean, as much as the players want, really, for me. So, as I've mentioned, like, most of my players are new, so I don't want to start, like, restricting anything or anything like that. Like, if it is getting to a point where it's like we need to move it along, then I'll move it along. But you can do that in role playing as well, right? So yeah, it's as much as the players want, I think is my answer to that. Because yeah, I don't want to deny them the experience that they want,
My answer to that is the opposite.
None. Fuck them. This is a math game.
My players, the usual table that I'm at, it kind of falls into two camps. It falls into the camp of, we want to role play. We want to, have the spotlight and do these amazing, wonderful sort of narrated moments and exchanges, and flesh out our characters and do all this, which is great. Then you've got the other camp, which is, we're not that interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
We will feed you enough, we will feed off you, but at the same time, we're happy to just play the game.
I want to go hit things.
We play the game, whether that's skill checks or whether that's combat.
Yeah.
So it's important to moderate. It is important to designate a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
To let these players who like this, like the sort of narrative and the roleplay, have their moments, but at the same time, not give them the spotlight constantly.
Yeah.
And
no, I get that, yeah.
The way I normally do that is I leave the role players till last. Because I will go round and like, okay, guys, you're all in the tavern. The night is drawing to a close. Does anybody want to do something before we kind of skip ahead to the morning? And I'll go, you. And I'll pick one of the people who doesn't roleplay.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to do? I just want to drink and forget the day and then go to bed. Fine. Yeah. You. And then I'll go to the next person who doesn't roleplay. And I will purposely leave the people who do want to have their little critical role moment. I will give them the spotlight last. Yeah. And I do this for one simple reason. If what they're doing does kind of drag on a tiny bit, then no one can complain.
Yeah.
Because I've given you your chance. You had a chance, you had your moment, you either did something or you didn't do something, fair enough. Now that you've had that opportunity, now let's give it to the people who will work the room and will do whatever. But at the same time, I will still kind of subtly nudge when I start seeing a conversation become cyclical. Because a lot of times it does.
Yeah.
Because they all want to have their moment and want to sort of embellish. And when the conversation becomes cyclical, it's like, okay, so this is how you're feeling.
Yeah.
This is how your character's feeling. Okay. Right, we're going to move on to, and then I'll move on to the next person.
The next one,
who wants to kind of role play it out a bit. I normally mentally designate a time. I don't tell the players that, but I'll look at the clock, I'll look at the time, just kind of go, all right, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them 15 minutes to get everything said, everything done, and then it's a kind of, right, if no one's got anything else, we are moving on.
Yeah.
That is my sort of tactic, because the way I see it, we're not only there to moderate the game, we're there to moderate the social interaction that comes with the game.
Yeah.
So, you have to share the spotlight amongst your players, regardless of how much they want it. It's like, okay, you've had enough time now. Now I'm going to focus on somebody else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, I'm a bit more stringent.
Well, I think that the difference really is coming from my players don't know enough about the game to really fit into either camp yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So giving them enough rope to do what they want with it, but then just making sure there's not quite enough that they fuck themselves, right? Is kind of where I'm at with it. Because like until we get through those, like 6 or 7 or 8 of those situations where we go through and then player one just goes, oh no, I'm just gonna have a beer and go to bed, but that might have been their role play for that night, because maybe in their mind the character is just shattered and wants to go to bed, right? So I think because my players are newer, I think it would be like, I still kind of do it the same way, going around the table like that, but I can't prioritize anyone just yet, because they don't even know which camp they fit in, and I don't want to be the one to tell them which camp they fit in. I think it's important that they find that out themselves, much like Scott did with us, because I mean, when we were all playing, there were some of us that preferred the going on for 6 million years. Looking at you. And then there were some of us that preferred to just sit in the tree.
In my defense, I made it fucking funny, though.
You did. And I think as well, like back then I mean, now I'm a lot more focused on the RP side of things. Whereas back then I was trying to get my head around the maths. Because I am a numbers guy and I wanted to really get the most out of it. So I wasn't really getting too engaged with the story elements. Whereas now I feel like that's not what I would enjoy anymore. And I've been, I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast now. I've been trying to get into that embellishy mode a bit more and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, the next time I set up a Cypher game, you're welcome to join it. Because that is a system that is a really good balance between mechanics and roleplay. So it's not like Monster of the Week where it's heavy narrative.
Yeah.
And it's not like Pathfinder where it's heavy mechanics. It is a good sort of middle ground.
Yeah.
So we can definitely do that. Or if not, some just Delta Green, and let's just have some fun.
Delta Green. That's fun. Dude, I love Delta Green. It's so much fun.
I'll definitely keep you posted for the next session of that. But I do believe that is all we have time for tonight.
I would agree with you because I'm tired.
So I just want to thank the Couch, Sci-Fi, and Marlin for sending in questions. Marlin, riddles, really. Anyway, that's beside the point.
It's technically a question.
It is.
Had a question mark and everything.
I want to thank you for spending some time with me this evening.
You're very welcome.
Do you want to tell people whereabouts they can find you?
No, but I will. Okay. So you can find me on pretty much all social medias at Justin Accurate TV. And yeah, that'll be it. And obviously on our Facebook group.
As for me, you can also find me on the Facebook group, and you can find me on dice.camp as at Natural Juan. You can no longer find me on Twitter because
it's called X now.
No.
Oh, you walked into that one.
Yeah. Okay, so you can no longer find me on Elon Musk's Wank Bank in any way, shape, or form because I've deactivated all my accounts. Not for any ideological reason. I just got so fucking bored with it. Yeah, I decided it wasn't for me anymore.
I mean, that's why I deleted Facebook originally.
But I'm also on Instagram and whatever bastardized thing they're doing with Threads. I don't know. But yeah, I'm mostly interactive on Mastodon, dice.camp. Come and find me and have a little chat. And most of all, I want to thank our wonderful listeners for taking time out of their busy days to listen to two idiots waffle on.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And good night.
Good night, everybody.